Another one.
Hello, good morning and welcome back to the Fish Locker. Mrs. Fish Locker and I are out on a low spring tide to try and find something delicious to eat along the shore. You ready?
Yes.
Let's go. You can see how much bad weather that we've had by the sheer volume of creatures that have been washed up towards this tide line. We have more, just in this few metres squared, we have more oysters than you can shake a stick at. All of those are still alive. These are the Pacific rock oysters. You can see how they clump together to form features and reefs. We have scallop shells, razor clams, cockles. Alongside of every rock you can find, there are clusters of winkles. We have mussels everywhere you look. Carpet shell clams, razor clams. There was queenie scallops. If you were looking for things to eat on the shoreline, this is the perfect place to start.
They're literally everywhere.
Oysters, oysters,
Razor clams.
oysters. More oysters. I'm going to drop in a really quick safety note. Walking down into areas of shore like this, I mean this area I have foraged on here countless times before. All of this rough weather we've had has moved a lot of sand and mud around. So you need to be careful where you're walking. If you are brand new onto an area, this is especially pertinent because you don't know what the seabed is going to be like. It could be solid or it could be a foot thick of something really sloppy. I've just fallen foul of it there. Walking over this ground, you can test it with your feet and it's quite solid. And yet just walking along and then there's a soft bit. There, looks like. So don't go steaming straight don't go streaming straight out onto a bed because you might get straight up to your knees. Yeah, I've seen it happen quite a few times. Usually if you've got a bit of momentum to yourself, as soon as the first foot sinks, you go face first. Yeah. So yeah, it's better to test it out first. If your feet do become stuck, wiggling them like that is only going to make them worse. If you can crack the seal and get your heel out, then pull them out backwards. A few found there.
Oh.
That cream cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, does it have a date on it anywhere?
I couldn't see one. There's some other bits. Look, there's one there. Oh. Is that from the same thing?
No, I don't think so. It's an interesting little piece.
It is.
Hmm. Especially recommended for invalids.
What? What's that word?
I've not seen what it says there on the bottom.
Oh. I didn't know they did such a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm not sure that would pass nowadays.
I feel like we should keep it.
Yeah, I'm not sure you'd get away with that nowadays.
I'm definitely going to Google cream cheese now.
We do enjoy doing a little bit of mudlarking, and that is quite unusual, but I really wasn't expecting it to say what it said. Yeah, that, I don't hold any opinion on that. That is exactly what it says. It says, specially recommended for invalids.
And it was obviously Western Supermare. If anyone knows.
If anybody knows what this is from, please let us know. I'll try and do some Googling when we get home.
Put it in the bucket.
Yeah, go on then. Yeah, someone got really upset with me last time. I left a really nice piece of pottery behind. I'll stick it in the bucket. It's an old style bottle.
I feel like we might go hungry today, but there's loads of... Look, there's more here.
This type of sponge is actually called a cut carrot sponge because it looks like pieces of cut carrot. One thing that is glaringly obvious compared to the last time that we were down here is the clarity of the water. Because of all the rough weather that we've had, it's stirred all the seabed up a bit.
It's insane how much glass and stuff.
Finding loads more bits, aren't we?
Look at this like brownie one.
Yeah.
I've
That's
never
all just
seen
been
stuff,
stirred up.
Never seen stuff like this down here.
That's the inside of the bottom of like an old lemonade bottle.
Yeah. I mean, we can't eat it, but... Oh, cool.
A little tiny scallop. Little variegated. Oh, I've just found a... Oh, well. Yes.
Proof of life.
This is a king scallop and this is a variegated scallop. Now, both of these are undersized. That is a very little one. These need to be 10 centimetres across, which is the width of my hand. So yeah, a little bit undersized. That is more like the size that we're looking for. Bless you. Yeah, that is a nice one. Bless you again. Oh. Another one. These have obviously fallen foul of all the bad weather and been washed up here into that. Well, there's another one there, look. Yeah. In all this really rough weather that we've had, these have all been picked up off the seabed and washed up here into the higher reaches of the tide line. Yeah, this is what we're looking for. Ooh. Yeah. Hannah has found some variegated scallops. Now they do hang out a bisus like a mussel and stick to stuff like rocks.
This one's kind of attached itself to this empty cockle shell, and then that one's on an oyster one.
I think the oyster and the sponge have taken over that one. Yeah. There's another one where a sponge has taken over a part of the scallop. It's an orange sponge and it's absorbed part of the scallop shell. You're collecting cockles.
I keep getting catfish. That was a pretty one.
Oh, look at that.
Oh my gosh, the cutest.
No, look again.
Empty.
Well, we're in the right place. Big old carpet shell. Yeah, that one's full. So yeah, that's another thing that you could look for down here. Get a couple of dozen of them and that'd be good for a chowder. Hannah has found a dogfish purse. And that's a spotted cat shark purse. And yet more empty scallop shells. This storm has really moved them around. Searching around in these upper reaches, we're finding an awful lot of scallop shells. And you can see how This is when they've come straight off the shell, and after a little while of rolling around in the sand, they get worn away. That one is properly paper thin.
They're so smooth.
Yeah, they've been exfoliated, like you say. Yeah. Also, when looking around in rocks like this, as I've covered in other foraging videos, these are other places to look for stuff. Like in amongst all these cracks and crannies that you can see in here, is not only is it full of winkles, you've got oysters, limpets. This is pepper dulse. This is an edible seaweed. Seaweed's one of those ones that I get asked about quite a bit. I mean, saying, oh, can you point out which are edible seaweeds? Technically, we have no toxic seaweeds in the UK, so all of them are edible. However, there are algae that sometimes grow on the seaweeds that can be toxic. So whereas the seaweeds themselves are edible, the algae that grow on them can't be. But pepper dulse here is just like a salty, peppery taste. We have serrated rack. They're also edible. You can tell this is serrated rack because the edges of them are serrated like a saw blade. I maybe wouldn't choose to eat these because they're covered in little spirobis shells, which would probably make it quite crunchy. On the other sides of here you've got some pom-pom weeds. This is Irish moss, this is carrageen. Springtime is a perfect time to come out foraging for seaweeds as well, because they're all starting to grow through fresh. They've all got new growth on, which is the most succulent time to eat them. There's a little full one. Yes.
Is it full?
Yes.
Is it big enough?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. It's just over the size of my hand. We have a winner.
All right. Well, not going to completely starve.
Yeah. Holding on to the side of this rock here is a whelk. Looks like a sea snail. In fact, I've just took you in there. These eggs on here are laid by that whelk. Those are whelk eggs. So that snail there has come round here and laid those eggs and has started laying more around here.
Is this the same here?
Oh. Yeah. There and there are all whelk eggs. Yep. There is one of your native flat oysters next to a flipping monstrous great invasive Pacific rock oyster. Along these areas on these rocks, they are teeming with winkles, but they're all just a little bit too small. And yeah, as Hannah's just mentioned there, we're seeing an awful lot more of these orange sponges, like taking over stuff. I mean, that one there's about to take over another variegated scallop. Some of the scallops that live here are monstrous. I mean, that was an absolute giant, but we're just not seeing them. And to be honest,
the ground is so different. Like, I can't believe it's not even that long since we were last here.
no, it's not been more than like a couple of months since we were on this patch. The seabed has completely changed from all the bad weather, and also, and I think it's a culmination of not only the weather in the direction that it's been for the last week, but also we have got incredibly low air pressure at the minute. The tide just hasn't gone out.
It should be out like another 2 foot at least, shouldn't it?
The area that I've just walked out in my waders to the area we're expecting to go, and it's still 2 foot deep. And yeah, we've got 15 minutes of the tide left, so the tide just has not gone out today. I have mentioned in foraging videos before that if you have a lot of high pressure, it can force the tide out further.
Is that the one you found
But yeah,
earlier?
today, it might have been. Is that the one that you found earlier?
I don't know.
Another little baby.
Cute one. It's empty.
Yeah. So yeah, we haven't been able to get down into the areas where I'd really wanted to, the areas where I was expecting to find these scallops.
We've maybe got
Even
another
if-
chance tomorrow.
even if we could, given all the disturbance that we've seen, I mean, all this bed here that we're standing on now wasn't here.
It was just like flat sand, wasn't it?
Even if we could get out to the places where I was expecting to, there's no guarantee that we'd find anything, because this storm might have displaced it all, it might have ripped it all up.
We've got one more tide tomorrow.
We have got one more spring tomorrow. We're going to finish walking about here until low tide and see if we can't find something. And then probably what we're going to have to do is carry this on tomorrow at a different location.
And go and raid the fridge.
Yeah, there is a king cockle shell. And here is the spine out of a cuttlefish. It's a cuttlefish bone.
There's a lot of razor clam, like empty razor clam shells here, which is where they would usually be, isn't it?
Yeah, there is. Oh, have you found an auger? Oh, that's one of my favourite shells on the seashore, that. An auger shell.
Just all the wiggly lines and stuff.
Yeah, there is. There's loads of... Oh, no, that's a live one.
What, a razor clam?
No, scallop.
Got a tiny one again.
Yeah, another little one.
Aww.
There is loads of razor clams, as if they've been dug out of the bed, as if all the sand's been displaced from this bed and it's just left all the clams and all the bits and pieces. So yeah, I think that what's happened is there's another one of them. Where all this was sand before, all the sand's been washed out, and all the clams and all the little cockles and bits and pieces that were all living in this sand have all been turfed out and are all dying. Yeah. There is no one or nothing to blame. There'll be nobody that can say that this is global warming or anything like that. It is just the weather. It's just a winter storm. And yes, it so happens to be that when it was in this direction, it's moved all this ground around and it's killed an awful lot of sea life. But that's just what happens. It's just, nature is a cruel mistress. Yeah, there is all sorts of bits and pieces here. Even the whelks haven't survived. It's a nice looking one, but slightly undersized. Yeah, another centimetre and he'd be big enough. See what we've got hiding under this rock. Oh, there's two rocklings there. There's something else under here. Yeah, another rockling. Oh, and a cake. There is a common blenny, also called a shanny, and these are shore rocklings. Oops, sorry. And look at how many variegated scallops are on the bottom of this rock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Why have some of them got that orange stuff?
It's just a like a sponge that grows on them.
Another sponge?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 that have fallen off. And one of my favourites, a little cushion star. And a whelk. Is that a rockling there, is it? Yeah, it is. Easy does it. And some sea lettuce. Ah, there's one.
Well done.
A little bit too small though. Right next to another piece of... Oh, this one's got some writing on it. Oh, this is from Truro. Yeah. I can't make out what it says, but it says something and Truro. And another little baby scallop. Have you found one too?
Teeny tiny one, but yeah, it is full. But they just seem to be babies.
Maybe these ones have been more susceptible to being pulled up and dragged to shore.
Another one.
Yeah, another little absolutely minute one.
I don't know, I've never seen them this small, this like high up before.
We did find quite a lot of small ones last time, but they were right out there.
Yeah.
Right. Points to you then if you know what this is.
It's metal.
No, it's porcelain, but you see them on power lines.
Oh, right.
Yeah, on the tops of power lines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are those things you can hit?
Oh, Hannah.
Have you got one? Oh, it's small again.
Yeah, there's another one.
Ooh.
Too small. Oh, that one's from Glasgow.
You've got handling with you, didn't you?
I don't know what it says on the other side. Something uns. Something and chicory. This bottle was actually Patterson's Camp Coffee and Chicory Syrup, made in Glasgow, made between 1906 and 1914. There is another example of how much destruction has been caused by all the water that's been pushing through. It's completely undercut all of this. That bankside there used to carry all the way along there. It's completely washed that tree out all the way along here. Yeah, there's been an awful lot of power of water moving around. There is not an awful lot that I can say about that. The tide has turned now and it's time to move off. Yeah, the tide just did not go out as far. We were expecting it to go out probably another 2.5 feet to what it did. Coupled with the fact that the seabed has completely changed. All of the storms that we've had, Goretti, Chandra, there's been 3 or 4 storms consistently back to back over the last 2 or 3 months, which just potentially has forever changed the seabed area around here.
It's never looked like this, has it?
We've been coming to this same area for probably 3, 4, maybe even 5 years on this spot, and yeah, it's completely changed. Potentially forever. We don't. It might not even ever recover back to what it used to be.
You didn't even get your sleeves wet.
No, my sleeves are dry. It almost feels like I haven't been foraging.
I haven't done it properly.
We did find one size scallop, so we were in the right place. We did find quite a few. Yeah. It'll just be half an entree. We did find quite a few undersized ones. Tossed those back into deeper water. For all the people that say, how come every single time you go out foraging you always find loads, this is an example of the times that we don't. Yeah, I go through the tide times. I get my tide books early and I go through the tide times for my entire year ahead of time. I have been looking at this set of springs for about 2 months. They were supposed to be massive and they just aren't here. It's very, very unusual. We do have one more day of it. We have a day tomorrow that we might try out. So we will see you tomorrow. Hello again. We are back out on the following tide to try a different area. Hopefully this one will not have suffered too badly with the storms and there will still be something delicious to find. Hannah and I are down here 2 hours before low tide. We have come to a completely different area of coast because the south coast has been absolutely battered by some storms and it just seems to be unending. Hopefully today this area will offer us a little bit of shelter and something to find. It is looking like it is going to rain a little bit later on. So fingers crossed we can get down to the low tide line, find something to eat and then get back to the van before it starts. There's an oyster shell that's been well worn by the sand. You could use that. You could use that as like a soup spoon, couldn't you?
You could.
Big old limpets on the go. We've got some pink coral weeds, some sea lettuce, some bladder rack. You can see just growing on the tips of all of these are the bladders that cause it to float. There's a fishing weight.
Right.
Yeah. Put that in my pocket. This here is a piece of lead lined rope. You can see that inside the rope there is a little bit of lead. This type of lead lined rope is used on the bottom of fishing nets. It's useful as well for crab pots, because the rope that goes to your buoy, if you loop some of this round it, it helps it sink in the water, so it's not all floating on the surface. This area here, the last time that we were here, none of this sand was here. Like all of the area that you can see, all of this sand, these were all rock pools. In the recent storms that we've had, it's moved all of this sand here, so it has really changed what the seabed looks like. These areas here were good mussel beds, and I imagine the places where this sand came from were probably razor clam beds. So there's an awful lot of change going on just at this time of year. There is no other cause than it's just the weather in the seasons. You get some type of an idea what of a shoreline this is like. This is a really harsh shoreline. This is subjected to an awful lot of swell and surf and battering of the water, because everything is clinging down into the little tiny crannies to offer some shelter. There is nothing out up on the tops of the rocks because it gets ripped off. It's all hiding, or these limpets are pinned down. We're starting to see a couple of mussels, which is what I think we're going to be looking for today. I really do like areas like this that show such a difference in the type of rock, like all these different stripes showing up in here and there. This here used to be much higher. You can see it's emptied all the sand out and just left all the little bits that were left behind. These always make me chuckle. That's probably started off with one little rock in it, and the current rolls it round like a mortar and pestle and opens it out. So that whole hole could have started with something like that. A little piece of quartz or granite, something that was harder than the rock that it was sitting into, and it just rolls around in the tide and makes a ball like that. There's more of them. Look, that perfect round one there. That could have been started by something as small as a pebble like that. It was just got rolled and rolled and rolled around in it by the tide. There's one. There's one. It's difficult to be able to explain this in a way that shows the true gravity of the amount of stuff that's been moved around. This area here that Hannah and I are in, the last time that we were here, there was metres more sand. Like the sand stopped there. All of it is all gone. Like all of it round here, up to there. All this area of rock was all covered by sand. Now, I don't think it's all just happened all at once, because there are more barnacles and there are seaweeds growing in all of these, so it's probably happened over a period of a couple of 3 months. But yeah, you can see where the mussel beds used to be. The few that have survived are still managing to hang on. But blimey, I tell you what, I'm fully sweating now with that thermal hat on. Whew. Yeah, the sheer volume and weight of sand that must have been moved around here is phenomenal. Yeah, the unfathomable amount of change that it's caused to the ecosystem. The areas around here, if I can find any of the old footage from the old videos of how many mussels there used to be, I'll put it in. But you couldn't help but stand on them when you were walking around, because the floor was just a carpet of them. We'll carry on because we're going to walk down here for about another half a mile and see if it's all changed down there. Yeah, this is incredible. Ever-changing landscape. I really am well and truly astounded. This area here where I am right now, you can see all the little divots. Every single little one of these dips in the rock. Everywhere you can see, every little bit of a hole, everywhere, used to have a mussel in it. And all of them have gone. You're talking like millions, tens of millions of mussels. Every single one of these little dips in this rock was all made by a mussel. Now look, you see how they lock in and a little bit of movement bores a little hole. They're just not there anymore. Just all been smashed off. What an incredible blow to the ecosystem it must have been, because it's not just that's like the base of a food chain, but it's also they're a filter feeder, so they filter out all sort like the massive volumes of silt and the particles out of the water. Just wow, I'm blown away. I've tried phoning one of my friends who lives in this area to ask him when it all started happening, because it's been a while since I've been back here. If I'd have phoned him and he'd have said all the mussels have gone, I'd have gone, I don't believe you, how was that even possible? It'd be like saying there's not a single grain of sand on the beach. Mental. This could be a decade before all these return. This, I guess, is a stark reason, a stark example of why sustainable foraging is required. Because a devastating natural event like this could set the species back in this local area by a decade, if not longer. Wow. I guess we aren't going to be taking any home to eat. Yeah, there's another patch here where there are some nice single mussels. There, look. But again, you can see they're probably not even 1% of what they used to be. Every single one of these little dips and holes before used to have a mussel in, and now there's one left. There, look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are a good size, but these are definitely your breeding stock. Interesting as well that even the limpets haven't properly survived. There's a reminder not to turn your back on the ocean. A bit of a surge. Even the limpets didn't survive. You can see where all the old limpets have been ripped off too. Now look. The amount of devastation that must have happened on this little area of coast is incredible. Yeah. Although there is enough here for me to be able to collect for me and Hannah to have a feed, ethically I think it's the wrong decision, because that's going to be your breeding stock for them to return. That is a big example of what I was talking about earlier. Them rocks in there are constantly being swirled around now by the tide and by the swell, and they're grinding the inside out like our mortar and pestle works. There's another one collecting a tackle box. I don't know how well you can see these down here, but those are like little crystal geodes. Look, just in a little piece of quartz. They seem running through the beach. Look, yeah, they are beautiful. That one there especially. The tide has turned and we're going to start making our way back along the beach. Yeah, it's absolutely was not as expected. I am blown away by not only the way that the area has changed, but also the changing in the amount of species in the ecosystem.
Both places as well.
Yeah,
Especially this one. This is like a
this was like,
guaranteed.
If people had said to me there's no more mussels there, I would have gone, I do not believe you. It's impossible. Yeah, this is the honesty of the videos that we make. I've always kind of said that it'll be the good with the bad, the rough with the smooth. These are 2 foraging sessions that we've had, and both of them have been almost a blank. We're going to enjoy the little bit of sunshine that we're seeing now. We're going to have a walk along.
At least it's not raining.
No, at least it's not raining. And we're going to do take 5. Take 5 is something that I've championed for quite a lot of years. It's doesn't matter if you're out on the beach, on the bank, anywhere that you're going for a walk, pick up 5 items or spend 5 minutes of collecting trash and then put it in a bin.
Start.
So I have found an old lure.
Sorry.
There was a little bit there. Yeah. We'll do our take 5 on the way back to the van. If we see anything worth showing you, I'll put it in.
If
we don't, then we won't. I hope you enjoyed joining us. I hope you found it interesting. All the very best. See you later. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the Fish Locker YouTube channel, where we have hundreds of videos from our adventures just like this one. We upload new videos every Sunday evening, so don't forget to click subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Let's go.